This week on Dateline Abuja, we have an update on the raids on scrap metal markets in the nation's capital. What kind of work has been done so far? And what's the FCTA administration doing to ensure that this doesn't become a recurring situation as we have seen over the past few years? We also have an update on the major stories from Nigeria's presidency and take you on those actual raids in our FCTA in focus. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Kayla Megwa. Let's begin with an update on the major stories from Nigeria's presidency. It's time for our Abuja Wrap.
President Bola Tinubu was at the palace of the Oba of Lagos, His Royal Highness Relwan Akiolu, to pay homage to the Oba. President was accompanied on the private visit by his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chairman, Boa Group, Abdul Samad Rabiu, and other aides of the President. President had earlier stopped at the Lagos Central Mosque, Lagos Island, for Juma prayers. The Chief Imam, Lagos Central Mosque, Suleiman Abunola, admonished the congregation on justice and fairness in their everyday dealing. He also led a special prayer for the President and prosperity of the nation. President Bola Tinubu has made a firm commitment that his administration will complete the Eastern Rail Line connecting Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. President Tinubu gave the assurance during an interactive session with Southeast leaders during his official visit to Enugu State. President also pledged that his administration will support the development of the Anambra Basin as a significant energy reserve. The basin is estimated to hold up to 1 billion barrels of oil and 30 billion cubic feet of gas. Earlier, President Tinubu had praised Governor Peter Mbah for his development model and philosophy after inaugurating several projects executed by the state government. He pledged that the federal government will continue to support Enugu and other states in their development efforts. Among the projects inaugurated by the president are the GTC Smart Green School, New Haven, Bisala Road, the International Conference Center, the Command and Control Center, and 150 patrol vehicles. And 150 patrol vehicles equipped with surveillance cameras. President Bola Tinubu departed Lagos for Accra, Ghana on Monday for the inauguration ceremony of the President-elect John Mahama, which took place on the 7th of January 2025. At the event, President Tinubu pledged Nigeria's support and goodwill to President John Mahama, stating his belief that the new president's ascension will lead to greater regional integration.
I'm here to work with you. You know you can count on Nigeria's support at any given time. You call on me. We are your brothers and sisters. We shall always be there for you. I am confident that new government under the leadership of President John Mahama will work with Nigeria to strengthen this powerful bond, leading to greater shared progress, prosperity for the people of our two nations.
President Bola Tinubu arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, from Accra, Ghana, where he attended the inauguration ceremony of President John Mahama. The President was received by the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and other government officials. The President is also returning to Abuja following his over 2-week stay in Lagos for the Christmas and New Year holidays. President Tinubu has expressed his sympathy to military authorities following the loss of 6 brave soldiers during a dawn terrorist attack on an army base in Sabongida, Dambual, Borno State. According to the statement by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the President also commiserated with the families of the fallen soldiers whose sacrifice in defending the nation, he said, will forever be honored and remembered. President Tinubu called for a thorough investigation to uncover the circumstances that led to the unfortunate incident and commended the armed forces for their swift and decisive response, particularly the air component, in launching effective retaliatory strikes. President urged the military to proactively take the war to the camps of bandits and terrorists, particularly in the northwest, where they continue to threaten the lives and homes of innocent villagers. President Tinubu also appealed to Nigerians and the media to support the military's efforts to restore peace and security in the nation. President Bola Tinubu is scheduled to depart Abuja to participate in the 2025 edition of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. According to a statement by the Special Advisor on Information Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President of the United Arab Emirates, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, invited President Tinubu to attend the summit, which will take place from January the 12th to 18th. The event, the Nexus of Next, Supercharging Sustainable Progress, will enable policymakers, business and civil society leaders to explore pathways to fast-track the transformation to a sustainable economy and evolve a new era of prosperity for all. At the event, President Tinubu is expected to stress his administration's reforms, including those related to energy sufficiency, transportation, public health, and economic development. The president will also meet with the Emirates leadership to discuss issues of interest affecting the two nations and is expected to be back in Nigeria on Thursday, the 16th of January.
Welcome back. In our focus on the FCT, we take you on the raids that were done during the week, these scrap metal markets. I hear they're not even supposed to be operational in the nation's capital, but they still keep functioning. They keep on doing these raids, but the markets still come back. On this report, we take a look at what was done during the week, what kind of arrests were made, and how much of our infrastructure was vandalized in the last few weeks. Stay with us. It is a sight that has become all too common on major roads in the FCT. Stolen manhole covers, responsible for various accidents, and in some cases, loss of life. The authorities carried out a raid on the metal market in Kabusa, where a lot of stolen government infrastructure is sold.
I see a lot of plates.
The Federal Capital Territory Joint Task Force arrested some suspects in connection with stolen manhole covers in the nation's capital. Addressing the press, the FCT Administration's Secretary, Command and Control Center, Mr. Peter Olumuji, explained that the activities of these scavengers are causing grave danger to the lives of residents who ply the roads. He disclosed that several car parts were recovered during the operation.
The Joint Task Force of the FCT have decided to raid the Panteka market at Kabusa, and we'll be going around because of recent, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has done a good work in providing infrastructural development to the FCT, which the residents are happy over and they are expectant in 2025. But unfortunately, people with evil intention have decided to be removing the manhole cover along the road paths. And this has created, like on the first, it led to an accident of a family because they never knew that the manhole cover on the road had been removed and their car mistakenly entered that. And also it has caused a physical injury to people who are just walking past. And this is criminal enough. And the administration is concerned about this. And that is why the FCT Commissioner of Police had a strategic meeting with every other relevant security agencies today, and they are out there today through the Joint Task Force to ensure that the raid of every Panteka within the FCT is raided, and we also know that Pantekas are not meant to operate within the FCC, so that will be enforced drastically, you know, and also we want to assure the residents of FCT that those criminal elements already will recover some of this manhole, which the Commissioner of Police will be briefing further. And we also have suspects that have been arrested already. So it is a good step in the right direction that the agencies are out already clamping down on these miscreants that do not want the good of the Federal Capital Territory.
In our shared commitment to ensuring the safety and security of lives and property within the Federal Capital Territory, we are pleased to announce a significant breakthrough in our ongoing efforts to tackle the menace of vandalism of public infrastructure, which has posed serious risk to public safety and infrastructures. The command has successfully arrested groups of suspects involved in vandalism and theft of manhole covers within the Federal Capital Territory. Our operatives conducted targeted operations leading to arrest of 50 suspects and recovery of 25 manhole covers. They are there for you to see. 3 vehicles have been recovered from these suspects. We have also recovered vandalized solar lights, galvanized rods used in construction of flyovers, and other tools used in vandalizing these government installations, and several other exhibits at various Pantika hotspots like in Kabusa, Gariki, Mabushi, and Wuse. Investigations have revealed that these individuals operate as part of a larger network, selling stolen manhole covers to scrap dealers. These criminal activities endanger the life of general public by creating hazards on our roads and walkway.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Abuja also arrested 7 suspected vandals in the nation's capital for allegedly stealing sewage covers and armored cables within the central business district, while the other 2 were arrested for vandalizing concrete reinforcement iron rods for drainage along the presidential villa. The FCT commandant of the Corps, Mr. Shola Odumusu, paraded the suspects at the command headquarters in Abuja.
We conduct 24-hour surveillance and patrol. But you know, the truth of the matter is that criminals too, they have their own way of operating. And, you know, when that happened, we had to go some steps further than them. And then we mounted, you know, an unending surveillance, you know, at the Constitutional Avenue, which produced this result. Right behind me, we have 5 of them who were arrested, you know, with their 2 vehicles, one Toyota Corolla and the other one Toyota Carina. You know, the ideal idea was to cut away the manhole covers and whatever they have been able to, you know, to vandalize and steal. Luckily enough for us, we were able to, you know, arrest them. You can see the cables, you know, lots of cables, you know, that's, you know, it is effort of government to provide infrastructure, and they are there destroying it. So we got them. We got the about 4 manhole covers recovered from them as well, and the 2 vehicles, which was on standby. Don't forget, you know, they have to find a way of cutting away their, you know, their loot as well. So God helped us. We're able to arrest them with the loot as well as their vehicles, and we are going to prosecute them. They are currently being investigated, and we're trying to see how we can, you know, unveil their network. The other 2 were arrested around the presidential villa, you know, destroying the slab reinforcement iron. You know, these are slabs that are used to cover the drainage systems. From the value of armored cable, you know, armored cable is not something that is cheap, and look at the length, the whole length we have here. So it's still a devastation to the efforts of government in making life easy for the people. So, but I know they are definitely going to be in millions, especially for the cables.
While the arrests continue and vandals are being made to face the law for this crime against the country, the judicial arm of government is being asked to strengthen the punishments for these acts to ensure a proper deterrent is in place for future offenders. My guest on the program is Dr. Peter Olumuji, the Secretary of the Command and Control Center of the FCTA. How much work is being done by this agency? There's a joint task force. What is the report? And when it comes to the deterrence, stopping people from actually going into vandalism and making a profit out of it, how much work have they done so far? Please watch this. Mr. Peter Olumuji, welcome to Dateline Abuja again.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a joint task force. They're supposed to raid the metal markets. We call them Panteka markets, the scrap metal markets. What's the update on these raids on these markets? Let's start from there.
Yes, the joint task force started its operation late December. In fact, we were meant to work to ensure that the festive period Abuja residents were safe. And what happened is that we achieved that, but unfortunately, the Vandals had to come and disturb the serenity of that peaceful Ember Month operation. And that is why we had to go getting the order from the Commissioner of Police, FCT, who is the chairman of the FCTA security team. And we had to raid those Panteka markets, which we suspected these vandalized items, both the manhole, the street lights, the solar panels that are used for street lights are kept. And we raided the Kabusa Panteka market, we raided the Mabuchi Panteka market, and also some other Panteka markets. And this led to some good success stories for us, where we were able to apprehend about 50 suspects and recover some of these stolen manholes and even the street light panels and the stands too. There
was a rumor that some of these scrap metal, these stolen and vandalized infrastructure, are being sold to particular steel companies in the FCT. Is this true?
Yes, there's that rumor because there's no way people with a evil intention will go and remove these manholes or these steels and they just keep it in their own room. It's because there's a ready market for it. And that's why we also went after the receiver of these stolen items.
Who was the receiver?
Well, I know the police will give more details about that because investigation is on. But we've also raided a particular company already, and the police are investigating and profiling whatever we've gotten so far. And in due time, the Commissioner of Police, FCT, will brief the public.
What led to the investigation of the? It's a steel company.
Yes.
What do they make?
Yes, they make steels. You know, in most of these steel companies, they melt all these metals that they get from these Panteka boys.
So you went to a particular steel company that you. What led to? Is it intelligence gathering? Was there a report?
Of course, it was because
that these people who vandalized these are
the suspects had to.
It was the suspects.
Yes, they confessed, and from intelligence also, because when the issue of vandalism became that got to that height. Immediately after the new year, the security agencies had to go all out to ensure that they gather all relevant intelligence to know who are the buyers, the buyers and the receiver of these stolen goods. Because we believe that these vandals cannot just be operating, having field day, without somebody receiving it from them. Again, we should also take note that these steel companies also have these Panteka boys getting scrap metals and the rest to them, and they use it for recyclement purposes, which is a normal business anyway. But when you now start receiving what is gotten from government installments, then it becomes criminal, you know, and that is the aspect the security agencies are investigating now.
I mean, there have been raids on these markets over the years. And we had, I think on one of our programs, we had the FCT commandant of the NSCDC saying that, look, we raid these places, we arrest all these people with all of this stuff, but when we charge them to court, the punishment is 2,500, community service, go and sweep Wuse Market. Is that something that worries the Joint Task Force as well?
Yes, it worries every one of us because, you know, presently the correctional services are talking more of a non-custodian sentencing. And, you know, when you do put in all efforts to arrest these vandals and they are taken to court and they are giving non-custodian sentencing, what do we mean by non-custodian sentences? That means you are not going to be imprisoned. They are just going to be given maybe sometimes community service, or you pay a fine of, like you said, 2,000 fine, and they are let off the hook. Some of them will still go back to that nefarious criminal activity they indulge in. So we also wish the court can look deeply into any suspect that has been caught and sentenced vandalizing national critical assets and government, national critical assets, to see how the sentencing can be a little bit prolonged than just releasing them after one or 2 weeks.
Is it possible that we're looking at it the wrong way? We're charging them for vandalism as opposed to charging them for manslaughter in some cases, because there are people who have died. There was an accident in December. There are people who have also sustained terrible injuries.
Even permanent disability.
Permanent disability,
yes.
from the crimes that they've committed. Maybe the charges should move, because you're the ones that are charging, right? It's the police, the NSCDC.
Yes.
So those who are prosecuting, maybe move it away from just vandalism to actual something substantial, an attempt on someone's life. Because if you stole a manhole cover and I fell into it and something happened and I lost my leg, I should be able to get compensation, and the person who stole that manhole cover should probably be getting a higher sentence. Is there a problem with that? Is it that we can't trace the particular incident to the particular thief? Is that what the issue is?
Well, I feel the FCTA Legal Secretariat is also reviewing these charges also to see how it could be done, and we could get more maximum sentencing on these people, because you will not present to court what is not in the law.
What about the organization of the pan-taker markets? Because that's one thing we've heard about. It's not regularized. You go, you raid the place. There are people who do legitimate business in those. There are people who are actually businessmen. They're not collecting vandalized items.
Yes.
They do legitimate business. Is the issue not proper regularization and monitoring of the pan-taker market?
One thing we should start with is looking at these markets within the FCC. The law of the FCC does not allow them to operate within the FCC. And that is why this constant raid and removal of this pan-taker market is on presently.
So wait, let's get that straight.
Yes.
These markets are not supposed to even exist?
They are not meant to exist within the FCC. And having them there, and that is why we still go back to what the Minister of the Federal Capital have said. Landowners should take over their plot of land and develop them. If you do not develop them, these pan-taker boys, these scavengers, use those plot of land as their market points. And that is the major challenge. If you go to most of these places we have raided so far, this plot of land belong to individuals that are meant to have developed it. Where you have babambolas and the rest, most of these settlements that you have babambolas, those plot of land belongs to someone that is meant to have developed and did not develop it. And that is why we still want to use this medium to retreat to those who own land in these various places to take over their land and develop it. That way, in essence, pursue these boys away from such locations.
I want to thank you very much, Mr. Peter Olumuji.
Thank you so much.
For being with us on the program. Good luck with all the work you have ahead of you. And I know we'll see you soon.
Very, very soon.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Remember to let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.